Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's maths lesson. Hope you've all had a lovely weekend. We're going to be having a look today at finding fractions of an amount. So you just need to make sure that you have your pencil, exercise book and the worksheet either on paper or on Seesaw to have a look at. Okay then, so today we're going to be finding fractions of an amount. Now the difference today is that the amount will not be 1. So we're used to so far having a whole that is 1 and it being split, for example, into 4. Each would be a quarter, but the whole would be 1. Today what we're going to have a look at is fractions of an amount where the whole is not 1. So how would we work out the fraction of an amount? And we're going to be using bar models to help us to visualise this. And then after that we'll have a look at the more efficient method using division and multiplication. So before we do the fractions of an amount, first of all, I'd like you to have a look at these numbers and see if you can halve them all. So if you just pause the video and try to work out half of each amount. So a nice quick way of doing it is to partition each amount and half each bit, then add them together. Half of 22, half of 20 is 10, half of 2 is 1, so half of 22 is 10 plus 1, which is 11. Half of 24 is, half of 20 is 10, half of 4 is 2, and add those together, half of 24 is 12. The even numbers are always easier to half. We'll do those first. So half of 102, half of 100 is 50, half of 2 is 1. Add those together. Half of 102 is 51. Half of 86, half of 80 is 40, half of 6 is 3. Add those together. So half of 86 is 43. Now it comes to the odd numbers, slightly tricky. We know that when we have an odd number, we get a decimal. So we're going to be a little bit, these are going to be a little bit trickier. So 63, same principle. Half of 60 is 30, half of 3. So remember, when you're halving an odd number, you're going to get a decimal. Half of 2 is 1, half of 4 is 2, half of 3 will be in the middle, which is 1.5 or 1.5. So half of 63 is 31.5. Half of 17, so half of 10 is 5, half of 7 is 3.5. Add those together is 8.5. And finally 77. Half of 70 is 35. Half of 7 is 3.5. And let's add those together, it's 38.5. So this is half of an amount where we've not got 1. And with halving, we know we can just divide by 2. The denominator tells us what we need to divide the whole into. That will help us with the rest of our learning today. So we're going to begin by looking at a fraction of an amount using a bar model. So I've got a question on my whiteboard here, 1/3 of 90. So my bar model is here, but we know this time that my bar model is worth 90 altogether, not 1. That's the difference between what we've been doing so far and today's learning. Okay, I need to know what 1/3 of 90 is. So I'm going to, because we know that 1/3 means 3 parts, I'm going to split my bar model into 3 equal parts. And I know that each of these parts of the bar model need to add up to make 90. And it's 3 numbers that are the same. So if I do 90 divided by 3, I'll be able to fill in those boxes. So 90 divided by 3, I know that 9 divided by 3 is 3, and I can use that to help me with 90 divided by 3, and it's 30. So I put 30 into each one. 30 add 30 add 30 is 90. So 1/3 of 90 is just one of these bars. So that is 1/3. So 1/3 of 90 equals 30. So if you were asked what 2/3 of 90 is, we can use actually the other two parts of the bar model. There's two parts there, or you could just use the first two parts, doesn't matter, but we need to have two of these parts. And that's 30 add 30. So 2/3 of 90 equals 60. Right, so let's have a look at another question now. 1/5 of 55. So my bar model in total equals 55. How many parts do I need to split my bar model into? Excellent. We look at the denominator. We need to split it into 5 equal parts. How am I going to work out what each of these parts is worth? Super. 55 divided by 5. That is 11. We'll put 11 in each one. You can double check by doing 5 times 11, and that makes 55. So I know I'm right. So 1/5 of 55 equals 11. So what will 4/5 of 55 be? Super. We need 4 of these boxes now, which is the same as 11 add 11 add 11 add 11. That's going to give me, you got it, 44. Excellent. That's how we use the bar model to help us to find a fraction of an amount. Remember, your denominator tells you how many parts to split your bar model into, and then you need to check that each of the parts adds up to the amount that you are finding the fraction of, the total amount. Excellent work so far. Now we're going to have a look at a more efficient way of calculating fractions of amounts. You may still want to use the bar model, that's absolutely fine. That's a brilliant visual way to see what you are doing. However, you may find that you prefer the more efficient method that we're going to have a look at now, which is using exactly the same skills but in a different way. So 3/7 of 84. I know that to find 1/7 I will need to do 84 divided by 7, just like I did in my bar model when I drew it. So 84 divided by 7 gives me 12. So 12 is the same as 1/7. But remember, I don't want 1/7 in this question. I need 3 of those. So what do I need to do with this 1/7? Remember, if I'd drawn a bar model to represent this, each of these 7ths would have a 12 in it. And it's absolutely fine for you to draw that to help you to check what you're doing. To work out 3/7, I need to multiply my 1/7 12 by 3. And that gives me 36. So 3/7 of 84 equals 36. So in efficient terms, we divide the amount by the denominator to get one of those. So to get 1/7, I divided 84 by 7, and then we multiply the answer by the numerator. So using those rules, let's have a go at another one. I'd like you to work out 4/9 of 90. What would you need to do? Fantastic. We would need to first of all do 90 divided by 10, divide by the denominator. Sorry, 90 divided by 9, which is 10. And then that's 1/9. I want 4 of those, so I then need to do, fantastic, 10 multiplied by 4. And that will give me my answer. That's 40, and the answer is 40. So the quick way is divide by the denominator, then multiply by the numerator. If the numerator is 1, you don't need to do that because it's already going to be the same answer. But if the numerator is more than 1, so it's a non-unit fraction, you'll need to do this step as well. Well done everybody with unit fractions multiplied by integers today. I'd like you to make sure you've got a different coloured pen or pencil either on Seesaw or in your exercise book, and I'd like you to have a look at the following slides for the answers. Please remember, big smiley face if you're correct, but please do see if you can spot and correct any errors as well.